Okay, this would be a little bit of a longer video. I have my watch list of stocks that's basically in my more or less my universe that I go through, and I also have pre-market. This is my pre-market layout. So I have pre-market scans over here. It's 5:53 in the morning. I've got a daily, hourly, weekly, monthly chart, and mostly, I mean, basically the system that I use is looking at Anchor VWAPs, looking at box formation or structures, but also pulling from the STRAT and looking at, okay, so right here we have an inside bar. So inside bars, we look at, if we're using a daily chart, and that's the time frame that we have, we look to take it long above that or short below it. But there's a lot. I mean, what I like about the strat is it's mechanical, taking a lot of the emotion out of it, which helps with their psychology, and keeping stops really tight, which is a big key. So we'll start at XBP. I have this sorted by 5-day gainers. Well, basically, what's up the most over the past 5 days, and that's XBP had this run, but then of course it had a run in the pre-market and then faded most of the day. Now you can put an Anchor VWAP here, and what do you know, that pretty much almost lines up with this top trend line here. So EBS, SGBX, that, look at this thing. I mean, I think the all-time high is $2,200. They pumped it, they split this, they did a reverse split, 1 for 20, and then dumped shares, I think yesterday. So a lot of these are day trade vehicles mainly. Carvana, had a shooter bar yesterday. Now we're looking for a takeout of that low from yesterday. But very strong on the monthly. You're up in the monthly, quarterly, the year. So you got to be careful taking that short. It's not like some of these other pump stocks that are significantly down on the year and the month, etc. AGBA, is that going to take out these highs here? GME, now this one is a little bit wild. I was just looking at them. I had all these trend lines on here. Let's erase that. Clean that up a little bit. So just looking at what's called a machine gun pivot in the strat. Basically where it ends up bottoming here. And all you're doing is you're just taking out highs. If everyone is short, right? Probably a lot of shorts in this. I don't know what the short float is. We can take a look at that. But it's been trading in this down channel here. Let's look at GME extension that we've got here. This will tell us what the short float is. Percent short, 22.5% short. So when you get a move like that, you look at it the daily, weekly. It's taking out all these what's called pivots. It's just really the highs of that week's high. This high just came through, and then yesterday you had a nice setup where your daily high here ends up rejecting that daily high, so you could have shorted it and rode it all the way down. Mara, so that had a nice move. Let's look at, this is what I was looking for, is it to come right into this resistance. So that would be a good short opportunity where now you have a buy signal here with an inside bar. So I'm looking for it to fade off here. Okay, Cloud, that has earnings a couple days. So be aware of that. CDL. This one is not really doing anything with it myself. Maybe I would take a short. Audio Eye, a lot of green volume in here. Look at that buying. Nice wedging pattern that it broke out of on the monthly. Rivian, if Tesla's going to be down, I'm not going to take Rivian long. And now MSTR, this red line was, that's the high from back here. So monthly, inside bar there. You took it out. Now you're coming right back. So it's choppy. You're up in the weekly. I would, if I were going to short it, I'd want it to be up here. So this one has earnings coming up. AAOI. Meso. This one that I'm tracking that I don't have any intentions of doing anything with. Boo. And like sort of a double bottom there. Came right into resistance. So I am PRCT, a little bit of profit taking there. This UPST has earnings. Celsius has earnings today. Yeah, look at this MDIA. Right, so you had this monthly chart with the Anchor VWAP here, came right into that, and I shorted this right in there. I think I was using a daily chart. But now, let's see, yeah, there's no real true support here. I mean, if you take the Anchor VWAP from there, it's underneath of all that overhead resistance. So if it were to, form a higher low here, and you wanted to take it long, great. But I would definitely be taking profit as we approach. I'd probably be taking profit like in here, and maybe looking to flip short. Nail, I don't. We've had inflation driving up home prices. I don't know how people continue to afford to buy homes, but people aren't. It's really companies that have been buying them. RYTM. So there you had a buy signal and continuation. Uranium stock. When does that firm have earnings? Tomorrow? Buy now, pay never. Coin. Wow, it's got a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah, there's nothing. It tried to go higher on the weekly, and it got rejected. I don't really see a trade there. Duolingo. My daughter loves that app, uses it every day. mRNA. Okay, so that's kind of consistent with Labu hitting resistance. China stock here. Actually, I should go through some of these China stocks. Shop trading in this circle and within this channel. Earnings tomorrow. FSLR, so that is above the Anchor VWAP here. This big volume gap up. But I don't really want to be involved in solar right now as a group. They're weak. Hood earnings tomorrow. So rig, you look at that. Rejected right at that. So this would have been a great one to take. Like, let's see, it's chopping around in this box, tries to go higher, it's failed, it's coming back, so probably you could have taken it right there as a short. And since then it's down it was down as much as almost 20%. Reddit, that's coming right into some resistance there. All right, so GBTC up on the week. The monthly found support at Anchor VWAP. A lot of volume. Let's look at the quarterly. There's this really nice cup pattern. Probably be careful with that one on the short side, but it's right at that. Some resistance here. That blue Anchor VWAP. Clean Spark. So I'm going to be watching this Clean Spark Mara today for some possible swings. We'll see how they play out. Look at this shooter bar on the daily and the weekly FTAI. So it's had this incredible run. It's basically gone straight up from that buy signal, and basically a falling wedge. And then from that buy, if you took it from the high of that buy signal, it's up 200, made a run of 270%. So, yeah, the earnings in July, they might have, did they report earnings yesterday? So that run, you might want to take profit if you've been holding it. Or consider it anyway. Okay, Meta. Right into resistance here. ARM earnings tomorrow. Apple. I'd look for it to give up this Anchor VWAP. Yeah, look at that. I looked at the undercut, basically undercut, rallied, and came back. Man, that's choppy. Amazon looking good. Nice big volume up week here. You had a buy signal there. It just reported earnings. Probably would not have bought it ahead of earnings. This one, the CEO is involved in some controversy there. Right, definitely not nearly as strong as Mara. I think Mara was just added to the S&P 600. Microsoft. And it's just been in this channel. It's getting back into the channel. End phase. It kind of looks like it's rounding, a rounding top potentially forming. Kava, not a place that I eat. It's just going higher. Look at all that volume. The monthly. Roku, not sure why anyone would want to own that stock. Okay, here we go. PLTR. I think they had earnings yesterday. I'm going to flag that one and do a little more research on it. SMR. This, you got a higher low here. Still struggling with this Anchor VWAP. A lot of overhead supply there. So look, a lot of people bought right there. Volume is about almost 20 million shares. Twice the amount of volume it usually trades. But they got earnings. I mean, it looks like this pattern looks strong. If it could rocket launch right through there. Let's put an Anchor V up here. Yeah, so that's even more overhead resistance there. Cracks. Bros, you had some volume, you had a nice little run here. Then you get a shooter bar. Kind of a shooter, more of a, almost in between a shooter and a doji. And it's been down ever since with volume here. STOK, it's just something like that. DRCT, that's close to giving up. That's still up. Still up from that. Well, it was down here at 262. Wow, look at that huge run. Basically a 10 bagger. Coal, that's below. Anchor VWAP's there. Okay, Geo that had earnings today, has earnings. So really, I guess you got to see the earnings, right? Not sure if they're this morning or later today, but that's had a really good run, really nice run. Tesla, I've already did some videos about that one. AMD, still in this channel here. It's pulled back, found support. I have this attached to an earnings report back in August, where it did catch a lot of volume. I mean, if you wanted to short it based off of this down, if it were going to continue down, I mean, yeah, that could be an opportunity there, but I don't know. I think it's not very clear. Very choppy, DJT. Steel stocks giving up the gains. What does that say about the economy? CYBR. Boy, that's faded off for a stock that was, people on Twitter were talking about it going higher. Some CI, just it's selling here, this massive volume, and it's just pulled back. How much is it down? Pulled back about 42%. I don't see anything to do there. This one just boxes all the way down. ABIO. All-time high is 2.37 million. So it might have some overhead resistance, but massive volume that came into it. Probably a huge short interest. Mullen found support at that trend line yesterday, then resistance at that Anchor VWAP. Dash. Probably headed lower, but might bounce around for a little while. Net, I've done some tweets about that one. Innovation, right? I think this is the new ARC. DXYZ. Weed stocks. Okay. And that's pretty much it.